familiarity with being on the ground, but I just don't see him being able to make that difference up. And I hate to say it, but I think she'd have a good chance.
Like, even if he had like 3 months of training on the ground, you know, like she's been doing this for years and years, you know, like that's like somebody telling him that she's going to train in boxing for 2 months and going to come in and beat him, you know, and he's going to laugh at that. He's going to think that's hilarious. But yeah, I'd have to give that to Ronda Rousey. And like the male female thing with that, I think it's a little different just because Ronda Rousey is she's like a man in her division, you know. Like, I don't know if you've seen any of her work, but she puts those girls out fast, and
right.
it looks like they shouldn't be in there with her, and
right.
They can't find anybody to give her a challenge. So as far as that weight class in her division, she's the man of her division, you know.
Right. I think, I credit Floyd with having some pretty good balance, outstanding balance for his age and for boxing. But, like you said, I just think it's a completely different skill set. And, unless he could catch her diving in on something,
yeah,
which is possible, but, I don't know, man. We don't have to spend a whole lot of time on it. I just thought I'd get, kind of break the ice with us. So 2 weeks ago, man, there was this WXC, which is Warrior Extreme cage fight, correct?
Actually, yeah, it was a week ago, last Friday.
Last Friday. So what happened for you, man?
I was defending my belt. Had a title defense at the Crystal Gardens in Southgate, Michigan, and fighting Josh Guthrie. He was, I believe, 13-3 or something like that was his record. He had a higher record. He had more fights than me. But I was fighting him, and it only ended up going the last 2 seconds of the first round. I finished it with a guillotine choke, and kept my belt. So it was a good night.
How many defenses is that for you?
That's my second defense.
Okay, and congratulations on the win. And that's you're the featherweight champ, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hey, I took some time, man. And like I told you last night, I checked on one of your fights on YouTube. The WXC looks like a pretty solid organization. I thought it was very.
Amen.
I thought it was very professional looking. It far exceeded what I thought I was getting ready to check out. And I actually watched the number 56 event. I think you fought a kid named Trevor Morris, I believe.
Yes.
So, in some of the research that I found, and I saw you mention in the middle of this week that your next fight would be professional. Were there professional fights on this card, and yours just happened to be one of the amateur ones, or what's going on with the WXC as it's trying to grow?
This was an all amateur event. WXC does do professional events too, but this was an all amateur event. This is WXC. I'd say has the best fighters as far as amateur goes. The best fighters and the best promotion to fight for in amateur mixed martial arts in Michigan. They take care of their fighters, and like you said, they have nice venues, and they make everything pretty professional. So, but they do have professional ranks too, and I'm probably going to fight for the WXC pro card sometime soon.
Okay. How'd you get started out in this, man? I mean, and what's your kind of like your affiliation or your coach team? I know I see a lot of different T-shirts that kind of indicate who a fighter's team is. How did you get to WXC, and give us a little background on that?
Well, I started fighting almost 6 years ago, and I wrestled in middle school. I didn't wrestle in high school because I played basketball, but I've always just liked contact sports. I did get in a little trouble while I was in school, like high school, middle school, getting into fights and stuff. And I really didn't like getting into fights, but I like fighting, like I don't like altercations,
right.
But I like the act of fighting. So, when I was told, in 2009 that I could, fight people and get paid for it, I was like, where can you sign me up? And, so I,
and not get in trouble afterwards either.
Exactly, and not go to jail or have to worry about any type of thing like that. I was like, this is awesome. So
right.
I actually had no training at all. I can't say I had no training because, like I said, I wrestled in middle school. I was the captain of my wrestling team for 3 years, and I had done some jiu-jitsu on, like, just self-taught with me and one of my roommates from YouTube, like just learning the basics, and not even, nobody was teaching us, we were teaching ourselves. So I just jumped into my first MMA fight. It was in Pontiac, and it was probably like the most backroom type of place ever. It was, and I fought this guy, and it only lasted a minute, 30 seconds. I beat the guy by technical knockout, and ever since then, I've loved it, and started training after that, and ever since then, I haven't stopped.
Okay. So do you train? I saw you said you teach striking at a gym. Is that the gym that you train at for your fighting career?
Well, I kind of train at two gyms. One gym I'm in partnership with, and that's the gym I teach at, and that's Bushido Mixed Martial Arts in Ypsilanti, Michigan. And the gym I train out of, like when I'm training for my fights, is Scorpion Fighting System in Brighton, Michigan. And yeah, so I do train out of Bushido too, but mainly just jiu-jitsu, since I'm the striking teacher there.
Okay. And I credit you, man. When I pulled the fight up on YouTube, man, I think from looking at something else, I saw that your style, or maybe I watched the preview ad that was on YouTube first, and I think they noted you as being a striker, but actually against the Morris kid that I watched you fight, I was surprised when you did a lot of shooting. I know you went for a move called the calf slicer. I thought you did more jiu-jitsu than what I was expecting, so it seems like if you've only been doing that for a couple of years, it seems like you progressed at it pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'd like to think I'm a fast learner. I think my jiu-jitsu is a little underrated. People don't really know too much about my jiu-jitsu. I'm actually at a Scorpion Fighting System where I train at now. Is actually a very highly renowned grappling school. So I think people are starting to learn a little bit that I can grapple. But
okay.
Yeah, Trevor Morris, I decided to shoot in a lot on him. I originally wanted to stand up and have a good striking match with him, but he was throwing these big wild bombs at me, so I'm not going to stand in front of wild bombs when I can easily take you down because you're leaving yourself open, So that was the story with that fight. And I knew I'd have the advantage on the ground too, so.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't have any background on him, so I didn't know really what his style was. I know the commentators mentioned him as being pretty heavy-handed. Did you get dazed at all in that fight, or just kind of you just rolled with what was coming at you?
Yeah, I didn't really get dazed a lot. I feel like I played it pretty smart. Honestly, whenever I'm in the cage, I don't feel too much. Like, even if I do get hit, I don't realize I got hit. I have to watch the video over and see what happened. So, like, I never really feel anything in there, honestly. I'll feel pressure, on my, if I get hit in the face, I'll feel some pressure on my face, never pain.
Have you had more knockouts versus submissions, or I mean, are you going into a fight, is your strategy to get a knockout, or do you just kind of assess your opponent and then adjust and just do whatever it takes to make sure that you win the fight?
Well, I kind of go in with like a game plan somewhat of what I think I would like to do, but at any time that game plan can change, so I honestly just try to get in there and just adapt to whatever happens.
Yeah, it seems like you got out to a pretty quick start on Trevor, and I thought you were going to go for a knockout, and it seems like at a certain point, and maybe that's what it was, you saw him taking the wilder swings and whatnot, so you went to the ground game and tried some other things, so I did notice that.
Yeah.
Like I said, it just seems like you had a big advantage striking when you started out, and I thought it was actually going to be a shorter fight and not go the distance as it did.
Yeah. Like I said, that fight I wanted to stand up striking. Once he started getting wild, I changed the game plan a little bit, decided I'm going to put him on his back. So.
Okay. Hey, one name, when I was looking into Warrior Extreme Cage fighting a little bit, I was kind of shocked to see that Jackie Callan is actually involved in that. Have you met her?
Who?
Jackie Callan?
No, I don't know who that is. Not by name.
Okay, I guess they brought her on as part of the promotion, maybe marketing side, but she actually is one of the most successful female promoters of all time in the boxing world. And actually there was a movie back in 2004 made about her. She actually managed a fighter named James Toney from Detroit, or the Detroit area.
I know of James Toney.
Right. This lady was his first manager, and like I said, they made a movie about her. She also had another world champion boxer named Bronco McCart, and she's just been a pretty successful lady, man. So I just had wondered if you'd networked with her at all, because she seems to be pretty successful in what she does. The movie was called Against the Ropes, by the way.
Oh no, I haven't seen that or heard of her actually, but I probably would recognize her face. If she's involved with Michigan MMA, I'd probably recognize her face for sure.
Yeah.
Not like I said,
right. Like I said, I think they just brought her in because of her. I think WXC brought her in maybe as they're trying to go more into professional cards. Maybe they thought she'd bring some expertise to the table, in terms of getting out the word, raising the visibility of WXC. Where does WXC rank amongst other companies in the Midwest as far as MMA?
Like I said, amateur-wise, they're the number one in Michigan, for sure. Amateur promotion. If you want to fight like the best fighters, find the best, events and all that, WXC has it for sure.
Is there any competition?
The talent's just another level.
Is there any competition like amongst with the Ohio organizations or Illinois or maybe even Indiana or?
I believe we have. I don't know about the other organizations over there because I don't know how their MMA works over there, because some different states have different rules and all that as far as amateur goes, at least. But I do know that fighters from the surrounding states do come to Michigan and fight in Michigan. Like Canada, we've had people. I've seen people come up from Canada and Illinois and stuff like that to come fight in Michigan at WXC and other events.
Have you fought outside of Michigan yourself yet?
No, I haven't. The furthest I've fought is Mount Pleasant. I fought at the Soaring Eagle Casino.
Okay. So, can we back for a second? So, what all does this amateur title entail? I mean, are you getting some type of pay for this, or what's the difference in between amateur and professional?
Amateur